All right. Good evening. It is 9 o'clock. We are a half hour behind schedule. My apologies. If you're watching this later, that's completely fine. That is completely fine. So I decided that I would start in our current year as a nice introduction. There's enough of you that have recently just started coming here. Um, so you could use a little briefing, if you will, on what to expect from now until the new year starts. Plus, I don't want you guys to confuse next year and this year. I want a clear distinction. So, right now, I'm beginning in real time. Okay, today is April 8th. Here we are. Okay, we have lessons as per usual. What mode are we in right now? We're mostly in uh, one of our priorities right now is choosing recital music. So, just so you know, this year everyone's picking one song. Historically, we've done two. This year, we're doing one because we have more students than ever. We also have more advanced students than ever. So, there's really only time for the students to do one song this year. Um, if we grow significantly in September, which is what I'm anticipating, I may introduce two recitals and split you guys in half. I do not want to run into an issue where we have recitals that are excruciatingly long. I like to keep them to an hour. I don't think they should be longer than that. So that's the priority for the month of April. Guys are all used to how things work with invoice days. When fees are due, I send the payment reminders on the 4th. Grace period ends on the 5th, etc. Just remember, just communicate with me or with regards to these things. I'm not going to do a deep dive. I've done enough deep dives into that. So if you have questions about it, feel free. But I think you all know what's going on in that area. Okay, May equals mayhem. It's just the way it is. So there's a lot going on in May. So right off the top, we are by the middle of May. I want y'all to let me know if you are opting out in June. So this year I made it so that you could opt out in December or June if you wish. Just because I know those are the two craziest times of the year. So for the 2023-2024 school year, you have the option to completely opt out. Um, it's year-end wrap up. Students are tired or they're ready to be outside more and at the piano less. Just let me know. You have to let me know by May 15th, okay? I need to know. Um, so yeah. Also, okay, the next significant event in May would obviously be the recital. So I'm just highlighting it here. It's 3:30 to 4:30. That's the goal. Saturday, May 25th, at Good Shepherd Church. It's at 3621 Lawrencetown Road. From my place, it's about a 7 to 8 minute drive. So just for those of you who haven't been there, just to give you an idea where it is, it's on the way to Lawrencetown Beach. Great location. Just so you know, I do collect a $5 to $10 donation, or a request a $5 to $10 donation per performer, just to as a donation for the church. There's a suggested donation. Um, they're good to us. They're good to the community. I don't keep any of it. It all goes straight to them as a thank you. They've been they've been hosting us for our recitals for years, and they have a great food bank for the community last time I checked. I know them. They're a solid bunch, so you can feel good about where your donation is going. They're reputable people. Okay, moving along, summer say week. So I'm week after recital. Yes, lessons are still in effect. Um, I would like, well, I require that during that week you make your summer commitments with me, okay? So during the post recital week, we will be finalizing your personalized summer plan for lessons, from exact lesson days and times to content of the lessons. We will design your musical summer ideal. And I'll even add to that, even if you don't know your exact lesson days and times, at least give me a number. By this time in May, you should like you know your schedule enough to know, okay, we can commit to 2 lessons this summer. We can commit to 3 lessons this summer. We can commit to 1 lesson this summer. We can commit to 8 lessons this summer. Or even, I'm sorry, we're away all summer. We won't be taking any lessons. I just need you to make sure you let me know because I'm not scheduling anything after that. I need to plan the summer. It's just kind of the way it is. Next, workshop sale. So I do a 4 during this week. The Simply Music Piano Summer Evening workshops are on sale for 100 per workshop. Regular price is 120. So it is a good deal. It's a really good deal. If you see the hours, as far as class time, it's about 6 hours worth of time for $100. That's way cheaper than individual lessons, and you get 4 songs from Foundations 1. It's a steal of a deal. 100 is really as low as I can go. So after that week, it's going to be 120. So tell your friends that are asking about where your kids take piano that summer workshops are an excellent way to test the waters. If they're feeling skeptical or not sure, they can just try. Okay, so June, um, I still have all the usual lesson times kind of plugged in the calendar here, as far as I can switch that up in May once I know what you guys are doing. So please notice that the last week of June, there are no lessons at all. So just notice that, because last week of June, everyone's going crazy with graduations and report card days, and just there's always chaos that week. So I'm doing you a favor, no lessons are being scheduled. Okay, and there's a mistake here. There shouldn't be anything listed there, so I'm just going to delete that. It's been a learning curve learning to use an electronic calendar, if I'm honest. I love my pen and paper, and I've had to force myself to learn to use an electronic calendar. I don't mind if you laugh at me, it's funny. Okay, so now here we are in July. Just so you know, this should help you with what you want to decide to do about summer. Lessons are all being scheduled on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, okay? So that is largely to do with the fact that lessons are opened up from morning through afternoon. So in the morning, you can schedule between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. School is done, so that's when it's available. Also between 1 and 5. So, based on last year, 9 to 5, Tuesday and Wednesday is plenty of availability for what people need. I would try to stay off the weekends, like Mondays and Fridays, because people go away for weekends, et cetera, et cetera. If there's some if summer lessons become wildly popular this summer, um, I can open up Thursday. I'll do that. But as of right now, I'm booking on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for summer classes. And so it's 9 to 5 at the moment. Um, yeah, I can open later, but typically I've found that most people don't book past 5 p.m. in the summer anyway. If you need to book past 5 p.m., it's not a problem. Just let me know. Um, as you can see, the evening workshops for simple music piano workshops are from 6 to 8, July 15th to 17th, and July 22nd to 24th from 6 to 8. Okay. Um, I'm also anticipating people will need lessons to be sporadic. Most people do. Some people want straight through the summer without fail, my keeners, right? And most don't. Okay, August, same story. Okay, you can read the calendar. I don't need to totally spell it out. Okay, so here endeth the calendar review for 2023-2024. That was the intro, a little 10-minute intro. Okay, now we are getting into next year. We're getting into the really good stuff. Okay, things are more streamlined this year coming in. Everything right down to the invoice and scheduling day. Okay. For example, even invoicing and scheduling day is going to be the last Friday of every month. That's really easy to remember. So, last Friday of every month, you can expect to get your invoice and schedule. Okay. So, significant announcement to make regarding what's happening at Simply Music Piano headquarters. So Simply Music Piano headquarters, beginning of February, made the announcement that they are trying to position themselves for growth. That's their goal. They are positioning themselves for growth, significant growth. Also, they've had numerous issues with their website. I would say probably a year to 2 years after I joined with Simply Music Piano back in 2017, I started noticing they were having a lot of tech issues. And so they admitted that they've just been kind of doing patch jobs for the last few years. And it's come to a point now where they realize they just have to get with the times, and not just with the current times, but with the future. So they are doing a whole overhaul of their platform online. Um, AI will be incorporated into it, just because, as we all know, AI is being incorporated into everything. It's very much in its infancy in this world, but it's there. So it really is changing for as like us as teachers, like what they're asking of us, and what what the curriculum is going to look like as far as when you access your materials and interact with your account. It's gonna just know there's gonna be some big changes. There's nothing to worry about. They're not going to revoke anything you've purchased. What you've purchased, you've purchased. They reassured us of that. Um, Fun fact, anything that I've bought from them is a license. I don't get to keep. It's not considered a purchase. It's a license. I'm licensed to use the materials as a licensed teacher. When I'm not paying my licensing fees anymore or anything like that, if I'm not longer licensed, I I don't own any of the Simply Music piano materials that I've paid for. Um, but you own yours as students. Just just a little fun fact for you. Um, so anyhow, some of you may not be aware, but as a teacher, as a licensed Simply Music piano teacher, I pay a royalty to Simply Music Piano on every lesson that I teach. Okay, so that royalty rate is going up. When they first announced, they said it was going up by $1. Now they're kind of like they might lower it a bit. They're a little all over the place, but the point is it's going up. And I'll tell you right now, I find it hard. I'll just be honest. I find it hard to pay. I find it hard to like it's a hefty price. Now, it's worth it because I love this program. The reality is it's a premier program. You have to pay you have to you want value, you want high value, you have to pay for it. That's the way the world works. So it's worth it. So royalties are going up for me as a teacher. That's the first thing you need to know. The second significant change that they're making for us teachers. So right now, the way it's been working, and ever since I've been with them, and the way it's been worked, they say since for the last 25 years, um, it's been an honor system as far as reporting goes. So, for example, I I report how many students I've taught each month, like how many Simply Music piano students I've taught each month, and how many lessons I've taught to that student. Okay, so so it's an honor system. So let's say you only took 2 lessons that month, and I only report 2 because I only taught 2. So I can do it that way and customize it. Um, let's just say that upon forensic analysis, the Simply Music Piano discovered that there are definitely people who are fudging or underreporting their royalties significantly. So yeah, so there's that. Also, with the new technology that's coming in, and because they want to position themselves for growth and have thousands upon millions of, hit maybe the 1 million mark of Simply Music piano students around the world, they need an aggregated, streamlined system. So effective, likely in September, definitely in the new school year. They alluded to September. Um, the way it's going to work is all students who are linked to me, which you have to be in order to take lessons from me, by the way, um, I will be charged automatically for royalties for for each week in the month. Okay, they to an average of 4 lessons a month. Sometimes it works out, as you know, that there's 5 weeks. There might be 5 Tuesdays, as you can see in this August. There's 5 Tuesdays in this particular month. They are going to stream, for example, they would streamline that to 4. Okay, it would work out to 4. So it is going to be in that sense kind of averaged. Um, but as a Simply Music piano teacher, I've always had the freedom, by the way, to make my own schedule. Um, it has always been the Simply Music piano way to offer lessons in a year-round regard because of the nature of the program, um, because of the playlist, as you know, and for the just the general upkeep of the songs, the way, as you all know, how it's all taught. We use previous songs to help us learn new ones. So we need students to stay in shape even in the off season in the summer. That's why I always try to emphasize summer lessons as being more dedicated to the playlist. That's what it should be. That's what summer lessons are for, just so you know, if you're like, "Why should I take lessons in the summer?" So that the rest of the year goes smoothly, that's why. If you take 3 months off, you're only signing up in September for me having to reteach material that I already taught. Why do you wanna pay me for that? Just saying. Anyways, I digress. Um, so anyhow, everything's going to be aggregated. That's a huge game changer. That's almost more than the royalty rate increase in itself. Okay? So those are the ways that it affects me a lot. So I've had to do a real deep dive into, okay, how am I going to structure my year if that's the case? So I'm just going to quickly, I'm going to do a big picture overview of the year, and then I'll get into the details after. Okay. So here we are. We're going to September. Just so you know, I've scheduled 10 weeks off per year. So I never run classes the first week of back to school. I just don't. Um, Nobody's ready to take lessons. Everybody's trying to get used to going back to school again, et cetera, et cetera. There are no classes. So that week is off. And then we run in session the rest of the week. Okay. But how it's going to work, folks, is that when you sign up, um, there's not going to be any more customizing. Like, for example, like say you registered for Mondays at 4 in September, whether you're able to come or not, you're going to be billed for 3 lessons because I'm going to be billed. I'm actually going to be billed for 4 than that particular month, from Simply Music Piano. So whether you're here or not, you're going to be billed for those 3. That goes for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, obviously. Okay. So for every week that we are in session, that I'm open, that we are in session, you're paying for that. That's the big change. That's how this is going to affect you. Okay. So the way that that's really good is that it's like you're in or you're out. Right. Um, so I'm still very much committed to making up time. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Sorry, I said I wouldn't go too deep. But okay, so September, then we have that 1 week off. As you can see, I've got it very well laid out with when we're not in session. We run every week in October with the odd holiday here and there, the odd holiday in November, but we're running every week. In December, we are only running until the 13th, technically, for lessons. Okay, because you know me and how I feel about December. It's better to close. Um, so then we're closed from the 16th right through the first week of January. So that's 3 weeks that there are no lessons. So you're not going to be billed for lessons when we're not in schedule. Okay. You just are going to be billed when we're going. Okay. So then through here, 4 weeks in January. I guess January is so, no wonder January feels so long. It's basically a 5-week month. That's why it feels so long, because we've got like a whole week off here, but it's still 4 weeks in January. Then we continue through February. We continue through March, with the exception of March break. I never run on March break, or generally when schools are all consistently closed. I know some schools do 2-week March breaks, but they're kind of few and far between. It's very special schools that do that, usually private schools or charter schools, or I just go with the general HRCE. Whenever HRCE is off for March break, that's when I always book that off. 'cause that's just the most universal one. Um, April, we're running. May, we're running. June, once again, you all know I don't like June for teaching. I don't mind the first couple weeks, but once we get to the last half of June, bye bye. Okay, so there's your sorry, I was supposed to be counting, showing you the 10 weeks, but if you count, if you go through from September 2024 to end of August um 2025, there's a total of 10 weeks scheduled off. Okay, so it's important that you know that as I go into more detail here. Okay, in the summer, what's happening is decided to choose weeks to book off that were around stat holidays, because I also just book off stat holidays just because it's easier. It helps me pace myself and catch my breath a little bit. I love my job, but I do need my rest to be a good teacher. Um, so I take the stats off. It's how I see my family. And yeah, so the last 2 weeks of June and the first week of July booked off because Canada Day week. Because I find in the summers, people, I would say a good majority of people, if they're going to take a weekend, do a weekend trip in the summer or take a week away, they'll often choose it around a stat. It's usually easier for most people. So then there's 3 weeks in July we run. And then last week of July running into the first week of August closed. Excuse me. Because I decided the 2 weeks that are around natal day, or yeah, that are around natal day weekend, just to close. Okay, so then it's just the last 3 weeks in August that we're open again. So why is this all significant to you? It's significant because when you sign up, you can still go month to month. Don't get me wrong. If you need to leave, you can leave. You're not signing a contract for a year. I'm not. I've never run that way. I never plan on operating that way. I don't like it because I take no prisoners. Um, but we do go month to month. I do require that you make at least a month to month commitment. So the reality is, when you sign up, you do so with the intention of signing up for the school year. The reality is, though, our school year is year round. You see what I'm saying? So, okay. So the the reality is, each month that you're here, when we're open, if your lesson time falls on that day, whether you can be there or not, you will be charged for it. Okay? Um I just wanted to make that clear, because you guys all know that those of you who've been with me for a while, I say, hey, if you let me know before invoice day, I won't charge you. I'm sorry, but I have to axe that based on the changes at headquarters. I can't operate that way anymore. Also, to be truthful, you guys all have your kids in other programs. No one else operates that way. I've just been really nice for a really long time. And I can't operate that way anymore. I have to streamline. Simply Music Piano streamlining. I have to streamline, because they're not the only ones positioning themselves for growth. I am as well. Okay, which leads me to my next point. Okay, we have to talk about the pricing in effect, new pricing in effect as of September 2024. So remember, your current pricing is your current pricing. You're going to keep paying what you're currently paying April, May, June, July, August 2024. So don't worry. This is why I'm doing this now and telling you guys this now, so that you have time to prepare and to consider your options. Okay. So, group lessons, folks. are the way to go with Simply Music Piano for the vast majority of people, okay? They are 50-minute classes. Why are they 50 minutes and not 1 hour? I'll tell you exactly why. Because we need time for groups to gather things and leave my driveway, and we need time for the next class to enter my driveway. It's about a 10-minute leeway. Okay? So that's why. That's actually Simply Music Piano's structure for groups. Um, so no one needs to feel cheated out of 10 minutes, just so you know, that's why. Or else it's going to be mass chaos with scheduling and everything will run behind and nothing will run on time. And your time is valuable, my time is valuable. Okay. So it's a 50-minute class. Group lessons will normally have the goal is to have 4 per class with a maximum of 5. And when I say maximum of 5, I mean, for example, let's say there's siblings that are able to take the same class, and yet there's 3 other people that need that time. Then I would go ahead and allow 5. We can still do a great class with 5. Simply Music Piano actually allows for a larger group class, much larger group classes than that, up to a max of 12. I would never run with 12. I don't have enough parking for that. I don't want to run a group class with 12. I will tell you this, group lessons in this method, they are magical. The kids, it's such a vivid, um, what they learn makes such a vivid imprint. They help each other. They learn from each other. What happens, if you're wondering how it all works, is we round robin. I did a trial group a couple months back with a group. And what's interesting is from each and every one of them for the next 3 to 4 weeks following, if not longer, I all of them at one point said, "Oh, I remember that from our group class. I remember that from the group class. I remember that from the group class." They had a blast and they learned effectively. I would say you learn more effectively in a group than you do in an individual in this method. Okay. I would not say that, have ever dreamt of saying that. Um, in the way I used to teach from like RCM and all the other typical traditional programs out there. I never would have felt that way about groups. I almost skipped the module on groups when I took the teacher training for Simply Music Piano. That's how much I was against group teaching for piano. I thought it was laughable. But I paid $500 to take the course, so I said I better not skip a module. So I took the module and I'm sure glad I did because it's a fabulous method. Okay, so that's $30 per 50-minute group lessons, okay? Simply Music Gateway and adults, it's going to be $35 per lesson for them. Why? Because per 30-minute private lesson. Simply Music Gateway students are students who are neurodivergent, learning challenges, learning differences. Groups are not, in 99.9999% of cases, group classes are not beneficial to them. So that's one reason why they need to work one-on-one individually. And then for adults typically don't want to learn in a group setting. I've been doing this a long time. I've been teaching adults since I was like 20. They don't want to learn in a group setting typically. There's exceptions. If you're the exception, you're welcome to be the exception. You come and let me know. But typically, adults want to work one-on-one. They definitely don't want to be grouped in with children, usually. There are rare exceptions in this world, I'm sure, but the vast majority don't want to be grouped in with a bunch of 9-year-olds. It's just, I don't think I need to over explain that. Next, so as you can see, the 30-minute private lesson rate that you're all used to paying is going up significantly to $40 per lesson. Okay, it's just a standard thing that group lessons cost less than private lessons cost more than group lessons. It's just the way it is. I will say this, I want you to keep in mind that it's very rare that a student is better off in a private lesson than they are a group taking simply music piano. And those rare exceptions, those are for students who progress at the speed of light, that are practicing 2 hours a day faithfully, and the rest of the group simply can't keep up with them because they're just moving at such a fast rate and they're giving me a run for my money. Okay? That's who the 30-minute private lesson is for in this program. That's who it should be for. So if your jaw's on the floor about a $40 per lesson price, I just want you to know what that's for. That's for someone who is trying to go to the moon with this. Okay? Um, yeah. Okay. And so now we arrive to voice. What I'm trying to do with voice lessons is I'm trying to move to a 1 hour lesson model. There's a lot of reasons for that. Voice is my area of specialty. Okay. A lot of people don't realize that's what I actually went to school for. I took piano lessons from the time I was 9, but I don't actually have a piano degree. I do have a music degree. I am a musician. As you all obviously know, I play the piano, and I do know about piano technique because I started teaching when I stopped taking lessons, and it all kind of bled together, so I never lost it. Um, but my area of expertise is actually in singing. um, so once again, we're talking about high level, you're not going to pay $75 per lesson per 1 hour lesson for sing along story time. That's not what you're going to do, right? Um, it's Voice lessons with me are intended to be pretty big deep dives. That's what they're for. Okay. Another fun fact to know about voice is I'm actually designing a vocal course. That's the plan. June through July. Oh, sorry, June through August. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in that. I'm sorry, folks. I am so tired that I can barely speak tonight. I just don't have a better time that I can go live. I would speak a lot better first thing in the morning, fresh. But yeah, I'm gonna need guinea pigs and people. So I'm gonna be reaching out to some people to ask if you want to take lessons during June, July, and August for free. In exchange, the reason why we give you those lessons for free is if you agree to your lessons being filmed and used in my vocal course. You get free lessons, I get free footage. I use it in my vocal course that I'm putting together. An online course to sell online. that is beneficial for at home. And also, any participants that provide footage are also going to get the course for free. So it's actually a really, really good deal. It's an excellent deal, actually. But not everybody wants to be filmed or is ready for that. So it has to be a certain person. Um, all that, by the way, you don't have to be advanced to be filmed for voice lessons. That's not, when I say ready, I mean coachable. All you have to do is be coachable and confident enough to be willing to make some sound for me. If you're scared to sing, I can help you overcome that. I've helped plenty of people overcome that because there's a lot. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. If fear, if you really want to sing but you're afraid, um, you're not alone. That definitely happens. Um, but then if that's the case, then being put on camera in a voice lesson is not the right option for you. So you have to, so it has to be the right groups of people. Anyway, I can go into more detail with that, but that's kind of the plan for voice. I am trying to, the idea is to put people through my online course first before they take lessons with me, private coaching. If they don't want to and they just want to skip ahead and pay the 75 bucks an hour, sure, you can do that. But it's gonna be way better to take my course through, and the online course is going to be high value for not that much money. Let's just say that. So, yeah, so that is basically the year. My kitty cat is crying at the door. Poor kitty cat. Let the cat in. Let it come in, Boca. Yeah. So, okay, I guess I'll close with some boring stuff. Um, I'm always closed on Sundays. Most of you know that. It's guaranteed closed on Sundays. So I just wanted to say on the payment due dates that say the 31st, it's because I don't do admin on Sundays typically. Okay? So keep in mind there's a grace period, okay? Also, you're always allowed to tell me, like, let's say you get your invoice on the 30th, something's come up, and you go, "Hey, Emily, I'd like to make a payment arrangement with you. Can I pay on the 15th or the 20th?" I'm gonna say no problem. I'll just tell you. Okay, because I have a heart. But the key is that you have to communicate with me. You can't ghost me. You can't just kind of like, right? Don't waffle. If you need more time, it's not a problem. I understand. Trust me, I understand. And there's no shame. There's no, you're not going to be a less of a favorite. None of that. Um, Times are tough out there. So, anyhow, nonetheless, I just wanted you to understand why that payment due date is there. On months where the first falls on a Sunday, I've decided to put the payment due the day before. Just as a I prefer not to do admin and have my phone blowing up on Sundays just because I'm busy. I'm at church. So it's my day that I don't. Now that doesn't mean I'm not violently religious. So if you send a payment through or you send an email through on a Sunday, it's okay. You're not going to get scolded. And but I won't respond on Sundays unless it's urgent. For example, your kid woke up throwing up on a Sunday and you're like, "Were you not going to be at class tomorrow?" Then I'll respond to that. I'm not unreasonable. I just want you to know that on Sundays I generally don't work. Um, I just have to have that boundary with myself because I'm a bit of a workaholic. That's the truth. Okay, so Um, okay. That's all I really wanted to say about that. There's some few more things I gotta plug in. Oh, something that I've never added to the calendar before. Okay. I'm committed to making up classes, okay? That's not changing. If you make yourself available, right, on these specific Saturdays. So I'm not available on every Saturday to make up classes. And just know that the key word about making up on Saturday is an emergency situation. So, meaning waking up during the weekday is absolutely impossible. Okay. Therefore, you must schedule a lesson on a Saturday. Okay. It is always preferable to find a makeup time during the weekdays. Keep in mind, group makeups must be done as a group. I'm not, if you miss in your group lesson, the idea is that you go and attend another group. So I'll get into more detail at another time about how we're gonna handle makeups for groups, but it's actually makeups. If you do groups, makeup, the world's gonna open up to you because there's hopefully going to be more options, not fewer options. That's the idea. My cat is in my receipt box. I guess that's my sign to hop off of here. All right. It's been almost an hour that I've been talking, doing this review. I don't want to do too much more. But yeah, so the idea is for groups to make up in groups. So here's the overall schedule, folks, for next year. Oh, there's a couple more things important about schedule, I should say. Okay, so on Mondays, I'm keeping it the same. I'm going to be available from 3 to 5 to book classes. Because of my choir that I teach for Lake and Shore Choir Club. The info's there if you're interested. Okay. Tuesdays, we're going to be 3 to 8. Wednesdays, also 3 to 8. It's going to be a little bit different next year's Thursdays. So my homeschoolers have committed to coming back for 2024 to 2025. I teach from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. for them. And I've scheduled a much longer break for myself this year, for this coming year, because my Thursdays have been trying to really burn me out. I won't go into all the reasons why. I commute a lot that day. Uh, yeah, it's a big commute day because my daughter stays over in Halifax. Anyway, I'm not doing that to myself this next year. So for Thursdays, there's a very short window, just like on Mondays, only from 6 to 8. Okay. Fridays, 3 to 6:30 is when lesson times are booked. So as you can see, lesson times are sacred because there's really not that much time as far as time blocks. After school is not that big of a window of time. So the time is precious. So just try to keep in mind that as much as you're paying for lessons, you're also very much paying for that time. Okay. Um, as far as how voice is going to work next year, okay, no, I don't pay into Simply Music for voice lessons. But how it's going to work is you're also paying for the time. So I have to make it fair, right? So, for example, let's say you're in September and you only want to come in September 27th. And you kind of like, and it's going to vary every month. You're not committed to necessarily coming in every week and Friday. What's going to happen? Let's say you just come on Fridays from 4 to 5, but you only kind of come in Mm, you only want to book 1 or 2 here and there. Well, I'm not going to block that time off for you in the sense that I'm gonna go take it down from the availability on my school calendar. It's still gonna be posted as available, and it just means that just because the time was available for you in September, it doesn't mean it's gonna be available to you in October. If someone wants to contact and book from 4 to 5 for Simply Music Piano and book up, and they're paying for the time, I have to honor that. So you can't just understand your spot's not going to be necessarily held for you. That's how that's going to have to work for voice. I can't really force the issue on making you come every week, but I will be able to say I can't promise you that that time is going to be available every month, and you're just going to have to book, perhaps potentially book a different day and time month to month if you want to do it that way. If you want that time held free, you're going to have to pay for it. So that's how voice is going to work, okay? So bottom line is we're getting rid of book when you want, come when you want. No, this year coming you're going to be paying for the lesson um and the time. Has to be that way. Um I might lose some people, and that's okay. You know, Simply Music Piano, I'll remind you, they do have an at-home version of the program. If you want to just kind of putter and go at your own pace and not come for lessons every week, that's fine. You can save yourself a lot of money and just self-study at home. So it's what they call their self-study program, okay? So yeah, if you want to do the self-study, then then go ahead. I understand. No harm, no foul. So, okay, I've talked officially for almost an hour. Um, thank you to those who watched, um, and to those who are going to. I'm going to call it quits for the night. I hope I haven't forgotten anything major. If I have, I might have to hop on and do another session or send out another thingy wingy dingy. But I am going to. The calendar here is mostly complete. It's just there's a couple little things I haven't put in, like I haven't put in all the like payment reminders, and payment reminders are always sent out on the 4th for the most part, unless I have to find another day. It looks like I'm gonna have to do it on May 3rd for May. Okay. If you have any questions, obviously send my way. If you have any concerns, if there's anything I said that you didn't understand and you need clarification, please let me know. I am wildly tired. So I hope I made myself clear, but if you need clarification, I'm happy to give you clarification and answer any of your questions. Oh, last thing to close. Part of the reason this is important, I can't believe I almost forgot this. Because I'm telling you now on April 8th, 2024, you have a huge advantage, especially for groups. Okay. So as soon as you know what you would like for September as far as day and time, or let me know, because I need to group the right people with the right people, the right students with the right students. I'm not going to be grouping Foundations 1 people with Foundations 4 people, okay? That's not going to work Like, obviously, the classes have to be able to have a synergy and symmetry, right? So, so what I will want you all to do, and I'll be sending this out sooner rather than, soon enough, probably after May and whatnot until June. There's no way I'm sending it out before then. Um, Let me know. Give me 3 options of when you could do a class. For example, Monday, 4 to 5, Wednesday, 7 to 8, Friday, 3 to 4. And you can even list your order of preference. Um, okay, that gives me something to work with. I do want to work with your schedules as much as I possibly can. Okay. I know this was a long one, but it was really important stuff. And it's changes that you have to be made aware of. So, I also should say, once a Simply Music Gateway student, always a Simply Music Gateway student. So if you needed Simply Music Gateway in order, right? That's why it's called Gateway, in order to continue on with Foundation and do the core program, Foundations 1, 2, 3, and 4, um, you're always will be considered Gateway, and private lessons will be what's applicable to you. Okay? Um, these are all really good changes that are going to give you higher value, not less value. It's going to give you more value. So I'm excited, and I hope you'll see the value in it all. I didn't really get to dive into whether like opting out. So there isn't really an opt out. You can opt out. Obviously, you can leave and come back. You can, but I will say that Simply Music Piano has already told us that um, they've already told us that students who do that, when they come back in, if they come back, there's going to be a reinstatement fee. So I don't know if that's going to be charged directly to you or directly to me or what, but just know that going forward, I want you to understand you're either all in or you're all out. And if you want to be in and out and in and out and in and out, um, to manage not having to pay every week, okay, you can do that, but there's going to be costs, additional dings for that because of the administrative nightmare that creates for Simply Music Piano and myself. Two, I'm not going to be able to guarantee that the time you once had, that you're going to get that back. That's how this works. So, yeah. So just wanted to let you all know that that's how that's going to go. Um, I'm sorry that I'm so tired and that I'm having a hard time streaming sentences together. All right. It's it's been 59 minutes and 8 seconds. It's time to end the stream. Thank you so much for watching, and I really am looking forward to a great year ahead for everyone. Okay. Take care and good night. Bye.